Hey, Charlie.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So the purpose of this meeting is to discuss the judging and the judging criteria for the upcoming guitar contest on the 22nd of January, 2022. And with us today, we have Ron Lynam, who is on faculty at the University of Northern Colorado in the Bluegrass Music and Folk Studies series. We have Stephen Wachter. Stephen is a accomplished classical guitarist out of Greeley, Colorado, and he judges the classical guitar section of the contest. We also have Rory Vernon with us. Rory lives over in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and he judges the electric guitar. And so I think we've got a real nice cross section of judges today. My name is Steve Gilmore. I'm the treasurer and kind of the contest director for the guitar contest that we'll be having in January. I'm the treasurer for the Cheyenne Guitar Society. So we're working on this in conjunction with the Laramie County Library system. And we certainly appreciate their support, their help, and their sponsorship of this wonderful event in our section of the world. We've always had good contestants, and I think it's been a real learning experience. We've kind of expanded the contest this year so that we have not only a miscellaneous category, but we also have a youth category. And so we encourage those individuals who qualify for the youth category to sign up and become a part of the music contest. It's an all-inclusive contest for people who play string music. So should be fun. And with that, I'd like to go through some of the judges' criteria and the judges' score sheet that is used for by the judges, and these are also provided to the contestants after the contest is finished, so that the performers can understand what they could do to improve their performance, what some strengths were, what some weaknesses were, and what have you. So and it's pretty easy to go through this. Obviously, the title of the song is something that the judges want to know what that is. They will be judging on timing and rhythm. They'll also be judging on execution and accuracy. And then there's also a judge's discretion score. Timing and rhythm comprises 20% of the total score. Execution and accuracy comprises another 20% of the score. And judge's discretion is 60% of the score. And the discretion areas are dynamics, expression, if there's any timing, tonal quality, what tonal quality could be, the difficulty of the tune, their technical proficiency, their arrangement, tempo, and stylistic consistency, intonation. Those types of things are all taken into consideration with the judge's discretion. So each one of those areas gives the judges a lot of areas to address with the contestants. And if somebody is playing a tune that's not very difficult, but plays it really, really well, they may they may see a little bit of a markdown in that judge's discretion area because of that. So if somebody goes in there and plays Mary Had a Little Lamb, that may not get as good of a score as somebody who goes in there and plays Rocky Top. I don't know. So we just want to make sure that and I think Marissa, is the score sheet posted on the website?
It was supposed to be added, I believe, to the registration. Let me double check on that.
It is on the registration page.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, that's good. That's good. So I think that what contestants would probably like to hear from the judges is how you interpret, or how would you judge, or what are you looking for when you're judging a contest such as this? And any of you can just jump right in and talk. Since Stephen's picture is on my computer, I think I'd just like to start with him and have him talk a little bit about his philosophy in judging contests.
I actually want to hear something that is entertaining, something that is well prepared, something that they can play very well. But it's a performance kind of thing, and I want to have something that is entertaining to listen to. So that's kind of, I take all the the technical considerations, musical considerations in, but the entertainment value is really a big deal.
Okay. Ron, what about you?
Well, I want to hear something played well. Your comment about something played, a simpler song played well, to me, that scores higher than a difficult song played poorly. The technical proficiency aspect of it is important, but the execution to me is the most important. Can you accomplish what you set out to do? That's not to say somebody who plays a very simple song well will win the contest, but they'll score better, in my opinion, than they would if they tried something that they really don't have a handle on yet.
Yeah.
Or that kind of falls apart halfway through. So that's what I listen for. And that's all included in the tempo and the timing and the dynamic expression and so forth. If you're playing a song that you have difficulty executing, you're certainly not going to be able to play it dynamically. So,
Right.
So in my opinion, those are important considerations.
Sure. Rory?
Well, the things that I would be looking for, depends on the style of music or the style of guitar that I'm going to be listening to. I might listen to one player, who is a shred master, and he does this hyper speed legato thing, and with full distortion. But the next guy might be a Brad Paisley knockoff, and he's a great country player. So there's a lot of different things that that I would be looking at as far as that is concerned. I agree with you with the thought that if it's played well, but played even if it's a simple song, but it's played very well, I'm going to like that a lot better, because it's going to be a lot easier to understand sonically, if you want to say it that way. And so I would be looking for execution and how well does he play it clean? If he's just over the top with distortion and all you're listening to is mud and a lot of electronic gadgetry, that's not going to tell me how good a player he is, because he's got a lot of stuff covering him up, so to speak. So I would be listening more for execution and ability to play something. If you got nerve enough to play something ultra fast, and if you do it well, that's going to score high. But if you go at it, with the thought that, well, I'll get through it with lots of overdrive and volume, that's not going to do it for me, because I personally prefer somebody who can play clean as opposed to somebody who can play fast, because one of my philosophies is if you can't play it clean, you can't play it fast. And so I would be looking, like I said, I'm looking more for execution, as well as like Maestro Wachter said, entertainment value, and does he, is he playing at all one volume? Is he playing it with some dynamics? Is he speeding parts of it up? Is he slowing parts of it down to make a point with a phrase? I'm listening for that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to demean those simpler songs, because I think there's some really cool songs. Mary Had a Little Lamb or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Mozart turned that into a masterpiece. And so if somebody wants to go and try that song on the guitar, the way that Andre Prairie plays it on the piano, more power to him. I'd love to hear that. So Charlie, do you have questions? Are there things you'd like to know?
Let's see. Not really. I have sort of done this before, so I have a pretty good idea how it goes. So one thing about the acoustic guitar is it's, in my opinion, a bit less specific than the other categories. I saw in the rules this year, you've upgraded the classical to include that they have to play a classical piece instead of just anything on a classical style guitar. I guess I think there was a little bit of confusion about that in the past, maybe. But with acoustic guitar, there's sort of different styles. So when I've competed, I've usually done things that would have been more flat picking, kind of cross picking arrangements. But I've noticed that other players have had a lot of success with more finger style type of arrangements. And I was wondering if there's preference to different styles. Obviously, I know all of the other things, the criteria you guys were just discussing is going to take hierarchy of that. If somebody comes in and they flat pick something beautifully, they're going to do better than the guy who doesn't play that well in a finger style. But, I'm just wondering, how those two things stack up. If both players are about equal, how those two things would be viewed, and what a better route might be for someone looking to, do well in the competition.
Yeah, in the acoustic guitar area. Yeah, that's a great, and I think the same is true also for electric guitar. You could have somebody who's a great, flat picker on electric guitar, or somebody that comes in and slays it with Chet Atkins style, or with Mark Knopfler stuff, and those are very different styles of playing. So I'll turn that over to the judges and let them address that. Ron, how about if we start with you?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of apples and oranges with finger style competing against a flat pick style. And I think the criteria are open to interpretation enough that it's possible to judge those things. I mean, a really excellent flat picker and a really excellent finger style guitar player obviously both have a great deal of technical proficiency, et cetera, et cetera. It just still comes down to execution to me, and how well the song is played, versus any particular, I'm not going to say, well, it's harder to play finger style than flat, because it's not. I do both. And so I think I wouldn't worry too much about, as a flat picker, competing against a finger style player. Excuse me, it's still gonna boil down to the judges' criteria that we are going to follow. And obviously, it's a judgment call on our part. There may be people who disagree with our decision. The way that the scoring is done, though, makes it pretty objective, rather than subjective. So I don't know if that helps you or not, Charlie, but I know it does seem like you're competing against somebody doing something in a very different style.
Right. And other people have even done open tunings. And I mean, obviously there's many challenges that come along with that, but it is sort of a different ball game, because you might have a moment where you can just sort of rely on a right hand pattern and make a difficult shift or something. And when you're flat picking everything, it's sort of a very dense style, and there's a lot more notes that you could screw up, for one thing. So maybe it's just a bad tactic to try that style, perhaps. I don't know. I was just sort of kind of voicing that, because that's what I've noticed in the past, is that the fingerstyle guys have seemed to do really well, and they were all really talented and deserved it too. But it also seemed like they had a little more time to breathe and things like that. So maybe
Well,
I
that's
should.
possible. I think in the past, a couple of times I've done this, there have been more fingerstyle players than flat pickers. So it may seem that way, that's the way to go, but I don't necessarily think that's so. I mean, you could also somebody could come in and be playing a Joe Pass stuff, a jazz piece on the acoustic guitar, and going against somebody who's playing Black Mountain Rag or whatever. They're different genres. We still have to kind of adhere to the criteria and try to make that call. And I really, you can't help but, as a judge, you can't help but compare people, but I'm really trying to listen to that specific performance, and only that performance while I'm judging, versus say, well, this guy's not, this gal played a great fingerstyle tune. This guy is playing a pretty good flat picking tune, but fingerstyle is way harder. So, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I think that in that process, the guitarist is earning points. They're not necessarily competing against other players, or competing against themselves, in a lot of respects. And
that's our hope. That's why we don't get to see you, because I know you, so it would be unfair for me to see who is playing.
Right.
And that's also why contestants aren't allowed to speak, so that we don't know who we're judging. But you can be every effort can be made to make this objective, but it still comes down to a judgment call.
well, and the other part of this is there are 2 judges for each category. So if one judge just really likes one, a particular contestant, and the other judge does not like that particular contestant and scores them lower, that can certainly affect the outcome of the contest as well. So, judges are going to have their own biases, and bless their hearts, I don't know that they can get through life without them. So, Rory, what is your take on this?
Well, I think, the electric guitar, in a lot of ways has a much broader voice. People seeing, the Joe Pass players, Joe Pass is one of my all-time favorite players, and there's no doubt, and he was a jazz player, a big old Epiphone he used to play was just a wonderful guitar to listen to. But you're going to have players that are going to do a lot of hybrid picking, the Johnny Highland type of stuff. But you're also going to have guys that come in and do on the electric guitar. They're going to be doing the Chet Atkinsy type of stuff, and then you're going to have the shred players. So to me, it has to come down to how simple is this? How simple is the song? How difficult is the song? And I will score, somebody who plays like Chet Atkins and playing a simple Twinkle Twinkle Little Star finger picking like Chet Atkins might, and he playing it well and using easy simple chords to play it. I'll score him a lot higher than somebody that will come in and just try to make it something that it isn't. The song should be, and the players should be making the songs that fit what they're able to do, not necessarily fit what they want it to be. And so if they play a Chet Atkins style, then that's where they should stay, is in the Chet Atkins style, and not try to move into a, rock and roll or the more modern styles of country picking, like the Johnny Highlands and Brad Paisleys, and that style. And so how well they do it, again, is what I look at. All the different styles of playing by their own right have their own difficulties that are addressed in that style, but not necessarily another style. So, you're not going to see a country player trying to play like Joe Pass, because it's not his style, and vice versa. So I just think how well is it executed, and does it fit what he's playing? Does it fit that style well?
Yeah. One of the things that I think that we ought to mention as well is that imagine going into the miscellaneous category, and 1 year we had a girl who played the harp, and then another contestant that came in and played a hammered dulcimer, and then another contestant that came in and played a violin. And boy, that's real different, to try to judge those contestants against each other, and they're all playing solo. They don't have the benefit of having a backup musician there. So that gets to be tricky too for them. And and I think it all comes down to execution. It seems to me how well do they play the piece of music that they're presenting to the audience and to the judges. So, Stephen, do you have anything you can add to that?
No, not anything dramatically different, but I think what we're really talking about is the clarity and the effectiveness of their musical communication, and making their instrument be part of them. Playing the music, making music, and not getting played by your instrument.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Charlie, did that sort of kind of answer some of your questions?
Sure.
You're just happy to be there, aren't you?
I think it did. I think Steve's answer from earlier about the entertainment value, and really, I think the thing for each contestant would just be to put their best foot forward and not really worry about what everybody else is doing, and just play whichever style they think they can play their best. So that's kind of what I'm going to take away from it.
Yeah.
As a non-music person, it sounds like you're all saying, be authentic, be the person that plays the music you want to play, and do it well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't try to play what you think the judges want to hear. Play what you enjoy playing. Play what you do. Do what you do. Don't try to mold what you play to the contest.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree. That's good. Play who you are, not what somebody else thinks you are.
Yeah.
Or what you want them to.
Be relaxed. Get up there and perform like you're playing in your living room. Play what you would play in the living room.
Just play like no one's watching.
That's right. Right. Even though there's going to be thousands of eyes on.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Any other expert pieces of advice or opinions that you can share with us in judging this? How about if we start out with Ron?
Well, I've judged a lot of contests in the past, mostly banjo contests, but guitar contests too, even fiddle contests. And you need to just have fun. Go into it and have fun. I know it's hard to get loose. I've been in a few, and it's hard not to be nervous when you do it. But I think if you just view it as a really fun experience and a chance to hear what a lot of other players are doing, And that's one of the fun things about judging, is that you get to hear what a lot of players are doing, things you might not have thought of before. I think that's the attitude to have. People that go into this and they're so competitive that they're going to be really bummed if they don't place or if they don't win. I don't think that's the attitude you want. I think if you just look at this as another fun musical experience, and if you win, great. And if you don't, well, it was still fun. That's the way I would recommend that contestants go into this.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron. Rory.
Well, I would like to see this be not necessarily a contest, but a learning session. There's going to be a lot of players there that are going to be really, really, really good. That, I think if they can get together with somebody with less experience, and they can bump heads and compare notes, this could be a learning experience. So even if you don't win, you do win. It can, I've a lot of the festivals that I've judged, or not judged, but been at and helped with, talking to the players at some of the festivals, great people, and I've had some great times with them, and I've learned a lot from them. And I've learned things from trumpet players. I've learned things from drummers. A musician is a musician, not because they have to be, it's because they want to be. And there's no reason to think that somebody that's with more experience than you and has probably a little better sound or a little better technique or a little better way of approaching things, there's no reason why that can't be helping somebody else too. So I would look at this as a learning experience, as a players teaching those who could use a little help, a little guidance. Lord knows I can use it every time I pick up a guitar. I wish somebody was around it, like, what did I just do wrong? And so, I think it's going to be good for everybody, and that everybody's going to have some fun with this. And I think that's what they need to do, is just go into it knowing that, there's other players there. You just relax, have fun, just lay back and just do your thing and play, because when they're up there on the stage, they're the only ones up there. And at that point, they're the best one on the stage. And so I think, they can just go in there and just have fun and relax.
Good. Stephen.
Two quick thoughts. One, I think the contestants should be encouraged to make sure their instruments are in tune.
Yeah.
Because if they come out and they're out of tune, and then they get flustered, and the judges are going to mark them down for bad intonation, blah, blah, blah. So I would think, just as kind of a helpful thing for the contestants, is remind them to make sure their instruments are tuned. The second thing is, as judges, I think we have a real responsibility to write constructive comments, criticisms on the judging sheets. We don't have to do things like, OMG, that's the worst I've ever heard, throw your guitar in the river. I think we should be kind and compassionate, honest, but trying to help people with constructive criticism.
Yeah. Okay, great. Narissa, Elizabeth, do you have anything you want to add to this conversation?
Just that both Narissa and I are new at this, so suggestions are welcome, and we will do our best to have a good crew on hand that day. So if we need to make changes at the last minute, we will have enough people to help us do that.
Okay.
Narissa?
We are excited to see everyone, and we welcome you to all come and register, and be sure to come on January 22nd for the contest. We really look forward to seeing what you guys can bring.
Great. The thing that I will talk about just for a minute is the sound system that's being used. I bring my sound system, which is usually pretty good. It's excellent sound, and we run speakers out in back into the judges area so that they can hear exactly what's going on stage. And we also put a speaker out in the hall so other people coming into the library can hear that there's a contest going on as well. But we'll have excellent sound, and sitting in front of a mic, a lot of times that's very intimidating to people to be placed in front of a microphone. But trust me, it will sound good. It'll sound like the instrument you're playing, and no need to worry about that. And I will be there to make sure the mic is set and that the contestants are comfortable on stage before their final introduction. So,
Hey, Steve, will the electric players, will they be using any special effects, or will they be doing just the guitar through to the amp?
they will be allowed one effects pedal,
Okay,
but they can't bring a whole series of stomp boxes with them. And they will have, we'll have an amplifier there for them to use, so that we don't have to worry about them hauling their amps in and setting them up on stage and just taking up that setup time. So
right.
yeah. And I'll have last year I think we had somebody come in or last time we had somebody come in and they wanted to play the bass, and so we will have a bass amp there as well.
Okay,
So, and those amplifiers will be mic'd into the soundboard, and they'll go back to the judges' chambers the way the other contestants do as well.
will they have, for the acoustic players, and I know this won't be part of what I'm judging, just out of curiosity, if one of the acoustic players comes in and he's got a pickup in his guitar, can he use that, or will he be playing into just the mic?
No, he cannot use the pickup in his guitar. He'll have to play into the microphone.
Okay,
Good question. Because we've had acoustic players that want to come in and plug in their acoustic guitar and run that through the system, and if they want to do that, they should probably enter the electric guitar category.
I think it'll be a better sound with the playing into the mic anyway.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm glad you asked that question, Rory.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else anybody has?
You.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, it looks like it's only one contestant to one category this year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So no, Charlie, you can't win them all.
I know, I was one of the people that might have been responsible for making you implement that policy, so sorry about that.
We're not pointing any disparaging fingers at anybody. That was a comment that came out of our initial committee meeting, and as with any contest or any event like this, it's kind of there's some things that are moving targets, and we may after we have the contest, then we usually have a debriefing session, and we figure out what worked and what didn't work, and make adjustments to the contest from year to year. So that's why you may see rule changes, or you may see category changes, or whatever. So it can be somewhat of a moving target. And as Elizabeth and Narissa have alluded to, they're new at this. This is their first year doing the contest, and my impression was they were kind of when we went into our first meeting, they kind of felt a little bit like fish out of water, but they've jumped right in and have been very supportive and very helpful and wanting to learn and wanting to get this contest right. So my hat is off to them, and I think the entire Guitar Society really appreciates the work that they put into this.
Thank you, Steve. We're really looking forward to this event, and we want to thank the Cheyenne Guitar Society and all of the judges very much for being here this evening. I think
Great.
it's going to be a really great event and good for promoting music locally and bringing musicians together and helping foster that relationship and that connection.
Good.
The other thing I wanted to add was just, Steve, do you want to talk a little bit about the concert for the winners in the evening?
Oh, yes, that's a good idea. After the, I think probably at 7 o'clock that evening, the contest winners will put on a concert. I think the acoustic guitar player, the winner, the first place winners will put on a concert at the library that will be open to the entire public, and the other contestants can come in as well and listen. The concert, the winners of the event should plan on a 20-minute performance in a concert setting for the general public. And that sometimes that's a little hard to prepare for, because if you don't know you're going to win, you probably really ought to have 20 minutes worth of music that you can play. And if I won a contest, I sure as heck can find 20 minutes worth of music. But the contest, or once the concert starts at 7 o'clock that night, and the winners of that contest, then they can also bring in.
Sorry, Steve, if I could interrupt you real quick.
Yeah.
It's actually starting at 6 o'clock that evening.
Okay,
concert.
6. Thank you. You just edit that part out. 6 o'clock is when the concert starts, and they can bring in the Budapest String Quartet if they want to help back them up. It's a little hard for them to prepare, people to prepare, but we do want them to share all their beautiful music with the general public as well. So,
Well, I think if you just kind of put it out there to all of the contestants, prepare like you're going to win.
right.
Be ready to play if you win. And so that way they won't, if they do win, they go, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Mary had a little lamb. That'd be a good time for that,
Yeah.
There you go. Can you do
Yeah.
that like Van Halen? But yeah, I think, if the contestants are asked to have 20 minutes worth of music ready so that they're not scratching their head about what are they going to do next, that might not be a bad thing to put it out there to, to all those who join, who asked to be in the contest.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. So, just be ready to win, I mean, there's some good money that is being awarded to the contestants who win, and it'll be a fun time. I go and I just have a good time. I really enjoy listening to the music. I really enjoy meeting with contestants and hearing the way they play, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. It will be fun. The ones I've done in the past, I've always had a gas of a time. So I'm looking forward to this.
Good. All right. Anything else that anybody has? If not, I think we can close the meeting out. And once again, I certainly appreciate all the judges joining us tonight, and the assistants of the library too. We'll see you all in January, and And keep your cards and letters coming. And we'll be in communication with the judges through the library, and then if contestants have any questions, they can certainly feel free to contact the library as well. So, okay. All right, and with that, I think we can close the meeting.
Sounds
Hey.
good. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
See you in January.
You guys take care.
Everybody.